Hey people, Mike Martin's here with the Mike Martin channel. Thanks for liking, joining, subscribing, and being part of the channel. Okay, what is happening? What is happening to gold people? What is happening to silver people? Well, in my opinion, as the Brics nations start forming this gold-backed currency or whatever they're trying to build, like the Portuguese did and the Portuguese Empire did, a gold-backed currency through the world trading on a fair scaled level. But unfortunately, if gold doesn't hold or retain value on the open market, well, guess what? Their currency will be flat. And I think it's the war on gold. I predicted the war on gold back in 2016, 2017, where obviously gold was being spoofed, manipulated, naked shorts, sells, lost fill slips, all kinds of crap happening behind the scenes as the big infrastructure at the top get bigger. The people at the bottom obviously suffer more. And this is something that's been going on for ages, and it's something we've been really, gold and silver and stacking is something we've been really focused on because it's real, it's physical, and it holds a very big monetary value, and it could spike or skyrocket. And we've been seeing it go up and then go back down. Well, what are they blaming? Well, let's see what they're blaming on this one this time, right? Was it the Hunt brothers? No, that was 30 years ago or 40 years ago. Let's take a look at what's going on. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. RealMikeMartins.com. Get over there, check it out. We have everything on here. All our stuff's backed up. All our shows are backed up. We're backing up everything as we go. So I'm doing a lot of work for you guys here and going back to bringing a lot of the historical stuff that we talked about on this show here on the channel. Okay, guys, and Mike in the Night has moved to Rumble. People keep asking about that. There it is, Mike in the Night, Rumble. 500 last Saturday, this Saturday, 501. All right, silver price forecast as the gold-silver ratio retreats. So what is happening? Silver prices have been in a strong bullish trend lately. The Federal Reserve decided to hike interest rates by 0.25%. The gold and silver ratio has been in a strong downward trend. So there it is right there. They are obviously raising rates to hedge against inflation, which we've been talking about here for ages. But you're starting to see silver prices going up from was going strong in March. I still remember a lot of people messaging me, and you're starting to see the price of silver drop there. And that's the gold to silver ratio. Sorry, guys. And then we have silver prediction here, and where economists have been forecasting silver to get up to 27.30. Maybe it should be at silver, in my opinion, should be $300 an ounce at the amount of money that's being printed out there. And this silver chart by TradingView. So there it is, silver prediction. There it is right there, going into April. And obviously we're in May right now, but let's move along here. So gold prices down following stronger than expected U.S. job reports. Now, who believes any of these damn reports? It's created and manipulated by the same people who have been telling you all these lies for all these years. So it's like Canada immigration stats. When you look at the immigration stats for Canada immigration, you see one thing on Canada immigration stats, but then you walk out your door, you see a completely different thing. So that's what's happening obviously here, and we talked about the spoofing of job reports and job markets and misleading people. So then this creates a trend to start pushing down precious metals, and it's always been a war against precious metals. Let's move it along here, and gold prices, gold price forecast. And U.S. dollar drops post-refreshing all-time high near $2,080 as Fed signals a pause ahead. Gold price has displayed some correction after posting a fresh year-to-date high of $2,079. So what's happening here is they obviously have to push the price down of gold. They have to manipulate it. It's the war on gold. The Fed announced that further monetary policy decisions would be highly dependent on incoming data. So they don't even know. Investors are worried that the U.S. labor market conditions are still tight and could accelerate persistent inflation. So there it is right there. So this is actually telling you what is going on. And right here, gold prices rise as markets focus on Fed rate cut bets and regional bank woes. So we got the complete opposite of that. And job reports. Job growth totals 253,000 in April, beating expectations even as the U.S. economy slows. So I think, again, it's back to the war on gold. So Northram payrolls increased 253 large for the month, beating Wall Street estimates for growth of 180,000, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The unemployment rate was 3.4% on estimates, 3.6%, and tied for the lowest level since 1969. So what are we talking about here? What have we discussed about here? Employment rate is actually 6 to 9%, hands down. Go ahead and laugh and unsubscribe. I don't care, because they're only recording people that are on unemployment. They're not recording people that haven't found a job in 8 months, 9 months, a year, 2, 3 years, looking to get by, living in a tent, trying to get by. You know what I'm saying? So they're only counting the people that are on unemployment insurance. So job growth, yes, but it doesn't factor what they're telling us here. They're manipulating this. This is quite transparently a lie. You can see right through here. Hourly earnings, key inflation barometer rose 0.5% for the month, more than 0.3% estimate. Then keep going here. Jobs report, adding 230 jobs. So they could add whatever and they could say whatever they want. And look at the markets are up today. And there it is right there. And job growth remains strong. Again, let's look at this graph here. You can plainly see it right here in the month of April of this year. And I'm looking forward to see what happens in May and June to get those reports out, because it looks like it's going to be, they're pushing it towards an upward trend, so we could get back to January's numbers. So this way they could bring gold down to $1,600 or $1,500 if they can. Because again, your gold reserve price will send shutters through the gold-backed crypto or currency they're trying to do with Brics, with their Brics dollars or whatever they're trying to do. Okay, so you got to remember this two-sided war. So here it is. There's the U.S. there's the U.S. debt clock right there. There's the U.S. debt pushing $32 trillion. So here's the problem we have here. The gold and silver ratio here is no longer now. There's the dollar to oil, dollar to silver, dollar to gold, and paper to silver. So paper to silver is still up. So paper to silver, $357. So basically, you could see what the price of silver should be. I think it should be around $400 or $500, and gold should be around $4,000 to $5,000. But that's just me. But they're actually shutting down certain parts of this website. Now let's go back in time. Now, Playboy 1980 with Steve Martin. Okay, what does this mean? Well, we actually covered this. Mike in the Night, life will never be like 1980 again. Gold and silver report, Hunt Brothers. So we made this video 4 years ago where we are talking about Playboy articles. And no, there's no nudity in it. It's fine. And we go into Playboy articles because this is very important. And somebody back in 2011 actually wrote an article about this. A 1980 copy of Playboy predicts the future for silver. So it goes into the Hunt brothers bought 55 million ounces in late 1973 and early 1974, around $3 to $4 an ounce, and sent 40 million ounces of it by chartered plane to Switzerland because they feared the U.S. government will confiscate their silver the same way it has stolen gold from U.S. citizens back in the 30s. So the rationale for their buying made perfect sense. Nixon had took the dollar off the gold standard, so it was now purely fiat currency. The Hunts feared that their wealth was going to be stolen by the printing presses, and they wanted to protect their immense inheritance. Their father made billions in oil. They continued buying over and the ensuing years, and even went into partnership with some Saudi sheiks. They set up a Bermuda-based trading company called International Metals Investment Company Lot. So the firm listed 4 principals, so it goes into the names there, and it goes into what the firm did, and the price of silver continued to climb. The regulators began changing the rules. First, the Chicago Board of Trade, the CBOT, raised the margin requirement and declared that silver traders would be limited to 3 million ounces of future contracts. So there it is right there. Traders with more than that will have to divest themselves of their excess futures holding by mid-February 1980. And it ties back why we were reading this issue of Playboy from January 1980. So the price of silver really started to shoot to the sky now because there was a perceived silver shortage. By the end of 1979, the price stood at $34.45 American. On January 7th, 1980, COMEX changed the rules. The exchange announced new position limits for future contracts of 10 million ounces. The effective date for the limits was February 18, 1980. After this announcement, the price climbed higher and the hunts kept buying. On January 17, silver hit $50 an ounce. So on January 21st, the COMEX announced the coup de grace, saying that the trading would be limited to liquidation orders only. No, I'm not kidding. The exchange changed the rules so that no one was allowed to open any new positions. From that point, you could not only liquidate open positions. The next day, silver fell off a cliff and plunged to 44 to 34. To cut the story short, the price kept falling and the hunts couldn't cover their margins on the futures they bought. The Fed stepped in for fear that the huge financial panic was about to ensue and lent $1.1 billion to the hunts to cover their margins, but demanded huge collateral for the loans. And the Nelson Bunker Hunt eventually went bankrupt in 1988. Fast forward 30 years, the silver price has once again scaled the heights of $50 an ounce. The exchanges changed the rules and increased the margin requirements, and the price of silver plunged 27% in a week. There are rumors that JP Morgan holds an immense short position in the silver that was feeling the pinch. What better way for them to relieve the pressure than turn on the screws on the long positions by raising the margin requirements substantially and then pick up the pieces at their leisure? Like, again, see, it's all made for them. After reading the history on the Hunt brothers and seeing the futures exchanges change the rules of the game after the fact, you have to view the corrupt price action in silver with a little more skepticism. In 1980, the fall was due to the exchange desire to hurt the big players who was long. Today's move, I believe, is more about protecting the position of the insider who is short and hurting. Therefore, I think you would have to say that chances are high that the price of silver will once again scale the highs if the players who are short use their sell-off to cover their short positions. There is still a lot of pent-up demand for precious metals, and central banks continue to print. Over the so hard to get physical silver and gold. Some people sent me links to websites, and some companies are restocking, or some companies have gotten a restock on silver and gold. But a lot of the precious metals bullion dealers, like physical guys that I've spoken to over the years, have told me they've been having a really tough time getting their hands on physical and filling orders for customers. They have to buy secondary market now and actually buy from some of the bigger dealers and have to really mark up spot price even higher. All right, guys, I hope that covers this war on gold and what's happening. And that, you know, it's kind of remarkable how we've kind of indexed all this and went through this. And that 1980s episode or issue of Playboy that we read on the channel 4 or 5 years ago, it starts like seeing the parallels and seeing what's happening and kind of making sense of how it's all a rigged game against us. It always will be a rigged game against us. So if gold shoots to $3,000, they're going to find a way to manipulate it. I'm thinking now that they have to really start changing and moving the goalposts. So if the Brics nations decide to do what the Portuguese were doing in the 1700s and actually having fair trade and actually having ports. There were countries that actually allowed, hey, Nagasaki, Japan, hey, we're going to give you guys a port here, Portugal. We love Portugal. And the 1600s or the mid-1500s, here's a port for you. Come and trade here. Here's Macau. Come and trade here. Here's Goa, India. Come and trade here. We love you guys. But that's because it was fair trade. It was across the board. And the Portuguese were always outnumbered. So they couldn't go in there and pull what the Spanish did with the guns blazing, determining who's boss. Anyways, guys, Mike Martin's here. Thanks for joining, being part of the channel. I'll see you guys tomorrow night on Mike in the Nights. I have spoken.